Hey y'all, it's racing day, so loud out here I can't hear a thing. Man, the fans are going wild. And these drivers came to rock, and no place else but Fox knows how to do it NASCAR style.
Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys!
Hey now, here we go, race day. Don't you be going slow. Keep that pedal down on the floor. Push it till the crowd can't take no more. Then hey, since the flag came down, be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways. Hey, since the flag came down, be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways.
Howdy y'all, welcome to Fort Worth and Texas Motor Speedway. With seating for over 150,000 fans, this motorsports haven represents racing at its finest. This is one of the fastest tracks on the circuit, with banking at 24 degrees and a tricky turn 4 that will come out and bite you if you're not careful. Greg Biffle starts on pole today, but to his outside is rookie driver and 8th generation Texan Sean Gossett. Earlier this year, the former touring car driver finished 3rd at Atlanta, a track very similar to this, so he hopes to bring home a good finish here in his home race. Points leader Kyle Busch has done well at this track recently. He rolls off the grid today in 8th. And keep an eye on the drivers making up the 2nd and 3rd row. Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth are always threats at 1.5 mile tracks, and Denny Hamlin always seems to be a threat here in Texas. Well, we're just about ready to get going, so we'll go trackside for the command of fire engines, given today by a man who sleeps upside down like a bat, Nicolas Cage.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
So as the warm-up lap begins, let's take a look at how they'll line up for today's race. Texas is one of Greg Biffle's best tracks, so it's no surprise that he qualified on pole here. Outside of him is the Strickland Propane Chevrolet of Sean Gossett. Row 2 sees two drivers who always seem to do well at intermediate tracks, Denny Hamlin, who finished 4th last week at Martinsville, and Casey Kane. On the inside of row 3 is another driver who's really good at intermediate tracks, Matt Kenseth. Outside of him, Mark Martin. Row 4 sees another driver racing in his home race, Corpus Christi's Bobby Labonte. Lining up next to him is points leader Kyle Busch. Starting 9th is the 33 of Clint Boyer, and on the outside of row 5, Dale Earnhardt Jr. In row 6, it's Martin Truex Jr., and starting 12th, Jimmy Johnson. On the inside of row 7, it's Elliott Sadler and Jeff Gordon, who's had a love-hate relationship with this track in the past few years. For the second race in a row, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski are both going to line up next to each other. They start in row 8. Starting in row 9, on the inside is Jamie McMurray, on the outside of him, Tony Stewart. In row 10, on the inside, it's the mayor, Jeff Burton, on his outside, Joey Logano. Starting 21st today is Kurt Busch, on the outside of row 11, David Rudiman. Robbie Gordon starts on the inside of row 12, on the outside, Kevin Harvick. On the inside of row 13, driving for Texas-based Westbrook Motorsports, it's Marcus Ambrose, and on the outside of him, David Reagan. Row 14 on the inside is Brian Vickers, and starting 28th, Juan Pablo Montoya. And a big surprise at the back of the field, Ryan Newman, normally an excellent qualifier, just hasn't found the speed he needs this weekend. We'll see if he can work his way up through the field.
Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time! Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Oh, hang on. Gossett's in the wall. No caution yet, but he's going to get freight trained. He's going to fall back to, it looks like, about 10th position if he can get back in line here. He keeps his foot in it. Doesn't look like the car's too damaged. He's going to keep going, but he falls all the way back to 10th. Back up front, Greg Biffle's got about 1 car length lead over Denny Hamlin, who's inherited second. Then it's Matt Kenseth and Casey Kane side by side for third. They're still side by side down the backstretch. Doesn't look like any driver has the advantage yet. We're on board with Denny Hamlin. Biffle's starting to pull away now after 3 laps. Looks like he's got about 3 or 4 car lengths on the rest of the field. We're single file through the first 6 positions. You see Sean Gossett underneath Mark Martin there trying to take back 7. Oh, and Clint Boyer puts a slide job on Jimmy Johnson. I'm not sure he's going to be too happy about that. Johnson back underneath Boyer. Looks like he'll take the spot back, and he's going to put a slide job on Boyer. Jeff Gordon's going to sneak by as well and take over 10th. All 4 Hendrick cars are running very close together. Meanwhile, back up front, Matt Kenseth has challenged for second. He's on the outside of Denny Hamlin. Doesn't have the position yet. Denny's fighting back. He's got about a quarter panel now, half a car length on Matt Kenseth. Well, there's a little bubble, and we've got a spin. Clint Boyer goes around. Oh, and Carl Edwards barely escapes there. Doesn't look like he's hit anything, though, so we're going to take a quick commercial break and take a look at what happened when we come back.
Is your cat making too much noise all the time? Think there's no answer? You're so stupid! There is! Kitten mittens! Finally, there's an elegant, comfortable mitten for cats! So come on down to Patty's Pub. We're the home of the original kitten mittens. Meow!
Welcome back to the Samsung 500 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Pit stops are just getting underway now. Greg Biffle pits from the lead. He's pretty happy with his car, so they're not going to make too many adjustments, just a couple cranks of wedge to keep up with the track. Just before the caution, Jimmy Johnson became suspicious that he may have had trash on his grill, so this caution is a welcome break to get that trash cleaned off. Greg Biffle's crew's going to hold serve here. He wins the race off of pit road. Let's take a look at what happened to bring out this caution. Keep an eye on the yellow car in the top left of your screen. Let's see what happens here. Looks like Clint Boyer cuts down a little bit, but he may have had some help from Martin Truex Jr. We'll watch it once again a little slower this time. Really hard to pinpoint blame here. It just looks like a product of not leaving enough room. It looks like everyone's lined up. Greg Biffle has chosen the inside lane for the restart here on lap 9. Kyle Busch makes it 3 wide. He's going to go underneath Casey Kane and Denny Hamlin. He's not in the clear yet, but Kyle Busch moves up to 3rd. And Matt Kenseth is fighting on the outside. He wants to take this lead. Kenseth leads that lap, and he'll clear Greg Biffle. Let's go on board with our new leader. And Busch makes a move down the backstretch. He's on the inside of Greg Biffle, fighting for 2nd. Coming out of the turn, they're still side by side, but give the advantage to Kurt Busch. And behind them, Jeff Gordon has moved into 5th. He restarted 2 laps ago in 11th. Jeff Gordon is on the move. He's cleared Denny Hamlin, and already he's to the bumper of Casey Kane. Moving up to the outside, he got past Denny Hamlin on the inside. When you can go both lines, you know your car is fast. And here he goes to Greg Biffle, trying to take away 3rd. He'll have him at the stripe. Jeff Gordon continues to move forward. Back up front, Kyle Busch wants to stab at this lead. He doesn't have Matt Kenseth cleared yet, but Kyle Busch is fighting on the outside. New leader, 18. And behind them, Sean Gossett has climbed his way back into 4th position after a hit with the wall on the first lap. Looks like he's got the damage repaired as Jeff Gordon goes underneath Matt Kenseth, taking away 2nd, and Sean Gossett is right behind Gordon. He's going to follow suit and take away 3rd. So it's Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Sean Gossett, and Matt Kenseth, your top 4. And Gordon makes a move to the lead. Gossett follows. We've got 3 different lines coming out of this turn. But Jeff Gordon is going to lead that lap, and Sean Gossett is on the inside. Gossett noses in front, the native Texan challenging for the lead, and that's going to put this crowd on their feet. Still side by side going into the turn. Gordon's got about a half a car length advantage, and Gossett gets very sideways, but he's not going to break momentum. Going into turn 1, advantage Gossett. He's got Jeff Gordon cleared. New leader, the 09 car. And Kyle Busch is on the inside of Jeff Gordon, but Gordon gets a run coming out of the turn, so he's going to hold position in second. Sean Gossett leads with only 3 laps to go, but here comes Jeff Gordon making a move. He wants this lead back. Going side by side into the turn. Neither driver's going to give an inch. Give it to Gordon by about a splitter length. And they touch! Neither driver wants to give up this lead, and Matt Kenseth is loving watching this, lurking in third. White flag this time by Matt Kenseth is underneath Sean Gossett for second. Does he have anything for the leader? Down the backstretch for the final time. Gossett's got an advantage, moving back into second. Gordon's on the low line. Gossett makes a run from the high line, but it's going to be Jeff Gordon taking the win at Texas. Well, it was the longest green flag run of the year so far, but the ending did not disappoint. Take a look at this close finish by about 1 hood length. So at a track that has plagued him for most of his career, Jeff Gordon finally got a win here in 2009, and it looks like he's got this place figured out. As Gordon makes the trip to victory lane, let's take a look at today's unofficial results. So Jeff Gordon picks up the win today. Sean Gossett's going to earn himself a hard-fought second in his home track. Then it's Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, and Kyle Busch to round out your top 5. Greg Biffle finishes 6th. Native Texan Bobby Labonte is going to pick up a top 10 and 7th at his home race. Then it's Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and Marcus Ambrose to round out the top 10. Carl Edwards finishes 11th, then it's Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Mark Martin, and Jamie McMurray. Elliott Sadler's in 16th. Then it's 3 drivers who many would have expected to do better today: Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Tony Stewart, and Brad Keselowski in 20th. Joey Logano finishes 21st. Ryan Newman rounds out a disappointing weekend in 22nd. Then it's David Rudiman, David Reagan, and Clint Boyer in 25th, who was never able to recover from his early spin. Then it's Jeff Burton, Brian Vickers, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Robbie Gordon. So here's how the points stack up after 6 races. Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch are both tied for the points lead right now. However, Jeff Gordon has the tiebreaker with his win today. Then it's Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, and Bobby Labonte. Greg Biffle led the most laps today. He's in 8th. Then it's Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. Matt Kenseth is tied with Tony Stewart for 10th in the points. Casey Kane is also tied, however, he is listed 12th because of a typo. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sean Gossett are both tied for 13th. Then it's Kurt Busch, Marcus Ambrose, Elliott Sadler, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, and David Rudiman. Finally, Brian Vickers is 21st in the points. He is followed by Juan Montoya, Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton, David Reagan, Jamie McMurray, and Robbie Gordon. Well, thanks for joining us for this presentation of the Samsung 500. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us next time in Summit County, Colorado. We'll see you then.